Picture this. It's May 2023, and a single, terrifyingly realistic image of a terrorist bombing at the Pentagon hits the internet. Almost instantly, billions of dollars are wiped from the market. It was one of our first real tastes of the absolute chaos AI-generated disinformation can cause. Now, fast forward to June 2026, and the US government quietly does something unprecedented. They suspend all access to Anthropic's ultra-advanced Fable 5 and Mythos 5 AI models. So you really have to wonder, what exactly is going on behind closed doors? The question isn't just about what these models can do anymore. It's about what happens to our entire civilization when we literally can't trust our own eyes, and when the machines we've built become way too powerful to control publicly.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're not just geeking out over some cool new software update. No, we're taking a deep, documentary-style dive into an impending civilizational shift that we're all living through right this very second. We are going to explore this massive, almost invisible pivot happening beneath the surface of our daily lives, mapping out the reality of the AI revolution, from its really quiet, humble origins all the way to its wildly unpredictable future. Section 1. The Engineered Mind, Outsourcing Human Cognition. You know, for centuries, human progress was basically all about overcoming our physical limits. The Industrial Revolution? That was a massive vertical spike in our history because we finally beat the limits of our own muscle power using steam and electricity. But today we are in the middle of a completely new era. We aren't just building clever little chatbots to write emails for us, we are actively executing a massive pivot where humanity is outsourcing its cognitive processes to machines. We are overcoming the limitations of the human mind itself.
Let me ground this for you with a staggering statistic. Experts at the absolute bleeding edge of this tech are warning us that 50% of all jobs are somewhat or extremely threatened over the next 15 years. And look, we aren't just talking about manual labor anymore. Because AI is fundamentally replacing human thought, white-collar work, creative jobs, and super complex analytical roles are sitting squarely in the crosshairs.
Section 2. The Deep Learning Breakthrough. How everything started. Okay, so to really understand how we got to a point where a machine could literally do your job, we need to take a quick sprint through history and see exactly how we arrived at this pivot point.
The dream of building machines in our own image is ancient, but the modern story really kicks off in the 1940s. Alan Turing is cracking Nazi Enigma codes. Then by 1956, some pioneering scientists at Dartmouth College officially coined the term artificial intelligence. For decades, it was basically just theory. Fast forward to 1997, and IBM's Deep Blue shocks the world by beating chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov. But the real tipping point, the absolute Sputnik moment for the globe, happened in 2016 in South Korea, when DeepMind's AlphaGo crushed world champion Lee Sedol at the ancient, incredibly complex game of Go.
Now think about the sheer scale of that victory for a second. Here's a crazy hidden fact. There are actually more possible moves on a Go board than there are atoms in the entire observable universe. Let that sink in. A computer could never win by just brute forcing every possible move, like Deep Blue did with chess. There literally isn't enough computing power on planet Earth to do that. AlphaGo won because it wasn't programmed with a rigid set of rules. It was designed to teach itself.
And that brilliance perfectly illustrates the single biggest breakthrough in modern tech, the shift from classic AI to deep learning. Think of classic AI like a strict teacher forcing a student to memorize millions of rigid rules. Sure, it worked, but it was super brittle. Deep learning, on the other hand, mimics the human brain's actual neural networks. Instead of giving the machine rules, scientists just dumped oceans of data into it and let it act like a toddler exploring a room. It tries things, it fails, it updates its own neural weights, and it tries again. AlphaGo played millions of games against itself, developing this emergent, self-taught creativity that completely baffled human experts.
Section 3. Rise of Agentic AI, the machines that work while you sleep. So, that deep learning breakthrough, it absolutely shattered the glass, breaking AI right out of the lab. And that leads us directly to today, where these models are no longer trapped in a little chat window waiting for you to type something. They are evolving into autonomous actors in our world. Welcome to the era of Agentic AI.
Here's where it gets wild. AI has moved from just answering your questions to executing complex, multi-step actions. Tools like Google's Opal or IBM's supply chain agents act as invisible, hyper-efficient employees. Imagine this. You just describe a goal to an AI agent. That's it. Without you ever lifting another finger, it independently researches target companies, writes custom code, designs personalized outreach campaigns, and launches massive workflows, literally while you are fast asleep. These systems aren't just drafting generic text anymore. They act like an entire back-office team, solving complex logic loops in real time. Section 4. The Hidden Tech War, the Dark Side of Data. But as you might guess, there's a dark side to all this frictionless automation. There is an intense, high-stakes geopolitical reality hiding right beneath the code. We are smack in the middle of a new Cold War, and this one is entirely fueled by information.
The race to become the ultimate AI superpower is incredibly fierce, mainly playing out between the US and China. Remember, deep learning algorithms are hungry. They require vast, unimaginable oceans of data to get smart. Because of that, data has become the single most valuable resource on the planet. Global researchers put it pretty bluntly. In the age of AI, where data is the new oil, China is the new Saudi Arabia. The nation that captures the most data and scales its computing power the fastest is absolutely going to dictate the economic and technological framework of the entire 21st century.
And speaking of that changing economic framework, that brings us to a massive looming controversy. Earlier, we talked about how 50% of existing jobs are threatened, right? Well, let's look at the myth versus the reality. AI isn't just deleting work, it's completely transforming it. Forecasts actually predict 58 million new AI-driven jobs are going to be created. But here's the catch. This transition is going to spark extreme economic inequality. Automation basically substitutes capital for labor. That means the people who own the AI systems and the compute power are going to see unprecedented, mind-boggling wealth, while everyday people whose cognitive skills get automated out are going to face sudden, severe displacement. But you know what's crazy? Economic displacement isn't even the biggest fear of the people actually building this tech. Consider this stark warning from top AI scientists and thought leaders. This is not some sci-fi movie plot. This is a genuine warning from the architects of deep learning themselves. We have a massive black box problem on our hands. We are deploying hyper-intelligent models into the wild, plugging them into our power grids, our financial sectors, our social platforms, but we can no longer fully comprehend exactly how they are making their decisions. Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority. Think about that for a minute. That is the reality we are grappling with.
Section 5. The Physical Crossover, Escaping the Digital World. Now, if you thought all of this was safely contained to the internet, well, prepare for a pretty unexpected twist. AI is breaking out of the cloud. It is actively escaping the digital realm and crossing over into our physical, three-dimensional world.
We are witnessing the birth of highly capable, physically autonomous machines. Literally right now, DARPA's subterranean rescue robots are down exploring collapsed, unmapped mines, making 100% of their own navigational decisions on the fly. We've got self-navigating drones dodging trees and dense rainforests at top speed. In the automotive space, researchers have actually figured out how to let AI drive cars using just 19 liquid neurons, which is this massive leap in efficiency inspired by the microscopic brain of a tiny worm. And honestly, the wildest part? At labs all over the world, robots are using deep learning to become spatially self-aware. They're developing a literal physical understanding of their own mechanical bodies in space.
Section 6. The Hyper-Intelligent Future, Curing Disease and Reading Emotions. Let's see how this physical crossover builds toward a shockingly advanced, hyper-intelligent future. Because while those risks we talked about are very real, the potential upside here is nothing short of miraculous. 200 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. That is the exact number of protein structures that DeepMind's AlphaFold AI has successfully predicted. To put that into perspective for you, that is nearly every single protein known to science. By predicting how proteins fold, AI is quietly but completely revolutionizing modern medicine. It's allowing us to map complex diseases and develop preventative drugs at a pace that human scientists could literally never achieve on their own. We are using machines to cure the incurable.
And that healing goes way beyond biology. It extends right into psychology. Future androids and virtual beings are currently being trained to possess deep, nuanced emotional intelligence. By analyzing human microexpressions, speech intonation, and even super subtle shifts in your skin temperature, these self-aware companions are going to act as highly attuned therapists and friends. They are actively being engineered to help solve the global epidemic of loneliness, providing genuine, empathetic companionship to people who feel completely isolated. Section 7. The final prediction: humanity's ultimate role. So, we are standing on the very edge of what is arguably the most profound technological leap since humanity mastered fire. From faking reality with generated images, to curing impossible diseases, to acting as our companions, artificial intelligence is reshaping the very fabric of our world. Which brings us to our philosophical climax.
This is the bold, lingering question we absolutely all have to face right now. When machines can outthink us, outwork us, and maybe one day even outfeel us, what will it ultimately mean to be human? Are we just the architects of our own obsolescence? Or are we building the ultimate partners to help us explore the deepest mysteries of the universe? The era of the engineered mind is officially here. What we do next is going to define our species forever. Keep exploring, stay curious, and thank you so much for joining me in this explainer.